Милость мира, жертву хваления.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As Father said, welcome to Our Lady of Perpetual Help Byzantine Catholic Church. I am John Kupcha, and this is Beverly Bishop Hawkins. We are the coordinators of the Delaware Valley Chapter of the Carpatho-Rusyn Society. Our speaker this afternoon is Dr. Elena Boudovskaia, the Associate Teaching Professor of Slavic Languages at Georgetown University. She will discuss folk stories and beliefs of Rusyns from villages in Zakarpats'ka Rus of southwestern Ukraine, where she did field work for a number of years, recording authentic traditional folklore. Elena earned her Bachelor of Science in Structural Linguistics from Moscow State University and her Master of Arts and PhD in Slavic Linguistics from UCLA. Before joining the Slavic Languages Department at Georgetown in 2011, she taught Russian at UCLA, Columbia University, and Vassar College. She also taught courses in Slavic folklore at Vassar College and UCLA, and beginning Ukrainian at Vassar College. Her research interests include Croatian, Ukrainian, and other Slavic dialects in historical perspective, Rusyn, a minority Slavic language, and traditional and contemporary Slavic folklore. Now, on to witches, wizards, and wolves. I give you Dr. Elena Boudovskaia.
So, Carpatho-Rusyn folklore in Subcarpathian Ukraine, witches, wizards, and wolves. So, for those of you who don't know, I think you all know, but just in case, here is Ukraine in Europe. And here is what used to be Podkarpat'ska Rus, the Subcarpathian Rus. Now it is the Zakarpats'ka Oblast, or the Transcarpathian region of Ukraine. Used to be within Hungary for about 1,000 years, since the time the Hungarians came here. Then after the Austro-Hungarian Empire fell apart, it became a part of Czechoslovakia for 20 years. And then the Russians came, пришли русские, and grabbed it and incorporated it. Well, the Czechoslovakia is said to cede into the Soviet Union, but you understand how it really was. So it was within the Soviet Union for 45 long years, and after that it became a part of independent Ukraine. Let's see. As John said, I went to a large number of expeditions there, talking to people, collecting folklore, collecting narratives, and before saying anything, I just want you to see some landscapes and to see some people to get an idea what it looks like. Till now, the Rusyns of Zakarpats'ka Oblast are more or less on subsistence agriculture. It means they produce most of what they consume and other way around. So see, there is the house. Around the house are beanstalks. There are two cornfields. The corn will be for the people, the corn stalks will be for the cattle. And here is the lawn accurately mowed, but it is not, the grass didn't go to waste. The grass is for feeding the animals. So everything, every small piece of land, every small piece of grass, wood, whatever, is used and reused. Beanstalks. Again, an example of how each small piece of land is used. The trees near the house are probably plum trees or pear trees. Then there is the mowed field for grass, some kind of veggies, again mowed fields. Everything is used. People are very industrious there because you wouldn't survive otherwise. Again, corn, plum trees, mown grass. Beautiful corn against
Is this in Ukraine or Slovakia? Where are we looking?
Give me a second. It is within the contemporary Ukraine, so this is Ukraine, and this is the Zakarpats'ka Oblast, the westernmost part of Ukraine.
Near the Polish and the Slovak border.
Actually, there is Poland, there is Slovakia, there is Romania, and there is Hungary. So it's the piece of land that borders on at least 4 countries. Okay. Now, evening landscape. I just want you to look at the beauty of the place and like this. Now, what the people are doing for their daily life. Again, imagine a life with, right now they have stores. They can buy bread and clothing in a store. Imagine a life without stores. Imagine a life where you not only get your own grain, but you have to spin your own wool and hemp. They didn't have much cotton that doesn't grow there. To make cloth, to make clothing for your 14 children. If you are lucky, you have 14 children and all of them live. Usually, like out of 14, 10 survive, sometimes 5 survive. And you are constantly working. If you're not tending animals, if you're a woman, you spin and weave. If you're a man, you're fixing the cart, you're chopping the firewood, you're doing a million things that can fall apart in a village house. Okay? So it's impossible to imagine how busy they are. And at the same time, when I, a total stranger, would come to them and say, hello, I want to talk to you about how life was in the olden times, they would drop whatever they were doing. They would talk to me for hours. They would feed me. They would invite me back. And it is like so heartwarming how open and loving they are. I don't have words to express my amazement. How can they be so open when their life is so difficult? If I had to do that much, like get up at 5 to milk and feed the cows and tend the field and come back and tend the babies and then feed that family, I would drop dead at 6 o'clock in the evening and I would kill everyone who would try to approach me. But they're like, it was so, again, I don't have words. So what they're doing daily, this woman is, she's herding a cow. She could have, so cow is very important because Cow is milk, cow is sour cream, cow is butter, cow is cottage cheese. So in the village you don't slaughter animals much because you don't have many. Where do you get your protein from? Milk and dairy. And milk and dairy comes from a cow. So,
What is the structure in the back center, the little roof? Is that a smoker?
now it's a well.
A well, okay, thanks.
And the stuff is so that all the crap is falling around. So she doesn't want to. Some people just stick a pole in the ground, tie the cow to it, and let it graze for the entire day. But she wants to bring her cow to the places where the grass is best. And she is like taking good care of the cow so that the cow doesn't eat something poisonous, so that it doesn't fall and break a leg or something. She is taking good care of the cow. And it is also a hard job because cow is huge, and if it wants to go where you don't want it to go, it's not easy. Now, I was talking about weaving and spinning. So this lady was kind enough to show me two pieces of cloth. This is the unwhitened cloth made out of hemp. This is the same hemp cloth, but it's white. So after spinning and weaving, you put it in the grass in summer or on the snow in winter, and you pour water on it, and the sun makes it whiter. You don't have bleach at that time. I didn't have bleach. Then you turn it over, and you do the same with the other side, and you turn it over. And it takes ages to get it from this color to this color. And again, it is a lot of hard work. And it's also, and it's only a woman's work, men don't touch it. It is beyond their dignity. Okay, now where they live. So this is a house under a new roof already. Let's see what's happening. There are the animals. In this part of the house, there are the animals. There's the door. And this is the living part, 1 or 2 rooms. And see what they did to make their house warmer in the winter. It's just end of summer, but they already got enough firewood for the winter, and they put it around the windows so that it is warm inside, and they don't have to go too far, and their firewood is dry. And you look at many things in their lives, and you see how well it is organized, how well it is thought. There was some unknown inventor who thought of that, and there were a lot of people who gradually made it better and better through centuries, and now else. With the limited resources that they have, it's one of the best possible solutions. And this is a house that still has a thatched roof. This is straw. And this is a moss that grows on the straw. Again, straw comes, you reap your grain. You thresh the grain out of ears of grain. You have the straw. You don't throw away the straw. You put it on the roof. And they told me that if there is this newer thing, I don't know what it is called, it's store-bought, or if you cover your roof with wooden shingles, it stays for about 50 years, but a good straw roof can remain for 90 or 100 years, and it doesn't leak.
Is there electricity here?
Not in this house, but generally in the villages there is. In the village where I went the most commonly, they said they got their electricity in 1965. Not after the war, not in the 50s, 1965.
The communists delivered that.
Yeah, without communists, what would we do, And actually about the prosperity, these people remember, at least from their parents' stories, they remember how difficult and poor the life was. So one woman told me, I was asking, like, what time was the best, like the easiest, the most prosperous? And she goes, probably the time of late Brezhnev, because at that time you could buy bed sheets and cups in a village store. Can you see like what they thought, what they considered prosperity? So, anyways, and this is already closer to the topic of our presentation. Anyone has any idea what is this and why is it here? No? Possible, yeah, why? So this is
spring. Is it spring equinox or
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday?
on Sunday they get those Possibilos blessed, that's right. But this is apparently not Palm Sunday, the grass is long and green, it's summer. Why is it here and what is this and why is that?
Half glass is half full. That's with, I know my Baba used to do something with a clothespin with the water. It was in the glass half full. And she would say talk something about spells or the basoka or breaking.
Possibly.
Do they put a match in the water?
Not on this one.
No.
It is for something. It is something magical, but
Yeah, my grandfather made me drink that once. It didn't work.
Well, it ain't risky. It ain't.
All right, and I don't give it to my daughters.
It's water and it's blessed water. Same as the Possible is blessed, the water is blessed, the candle is blessed, and they are all on the windowsill. It is protection against, as we say, thunder, but really lightning. In the old times, like in the buildings like this, there is no, what do you call it? This wire that gets the lightning.
Electric rod, lightning rod.
Lightning rod. So they didn't have lightning rods, and lightning was one of the worst things that could happen. Besides an epidemic, like if the lightning hits, all your stuff burns and your neighbors' houses burn, and God forbid. So if you don't have a lightning rod, what do? You put a blessed Possible, some blessed water, and maybe an Easter candle or a Christmas candle on your windowsill, so that the lightning doesn't hit you. So it's just one of the things that influence their lives, but in the lives that they have, there isn't much help from the government, from the official medicine, from the modern technology, and they use the things that, again, were like proven by ages. And they believe in them wholeheartedly. Like, people have different combinations of these things on the windowsills, but they all told me that, yeah, you need to do that, it really helps. And like, they have no doubt about that. It helps, it really helps. And what I'm going to tell you later about witches and wizards, the most complicated stories, people maybe don't believe in them anymore. But the basics of that, there are witches, maybe now less than before, but they've never done that. And when I tell my students about that, my students go, no, you didn't understand them. Maybe they're just pretending, maybe they just wanted to impress you. No. I talk to many people, I talk to them in different situations, they totally believe that. It is inside their world. Not only the grass, not only the pig that needs to be tended, but also the Possible to prevent the lightning strike. And just let me show you a couple of pictures of people who live there. A woman who's an old communist, actually, she used to work in a library, in a village library, so she's not that typical, but look at her expression, you can see. She's a character, and most of them are characters. These are all teachers, now they're both dead, unfortunately. And they are one of the people I told you about that would drop everything they were doing, making hay, tending animals, and talk to me for hours. And this guy sang wonderful and played his accordion. And this guy was 19 when I talked to him. and he wanted me to photograph him in the yard with grape vines, right? Grape vines over his head, and his grandson's car behind him, so that they could see and that they wouldn't forget that their family is prosperous, because they got all that working by their own hands. And they earned that, they deserved it, and it is rightful prestige that you get working with your own hands. And he's 90 and he's very happy. This is a woman from the same village. Her life is not that easy because her daughter was sick and there was some trouble from that. And she finds, she finds solace in beautiful flowers. Not only she has a garden that provides potatoes and tomatoes and peppers for the entire year. She also tends flowers, and flowers are just full of beauty. And she was even kind of shy that she's spending time and ground for such trifles, but she was happy to be with her flowers. And these are two people from the poorest, most mountainous village I was in. And there, the young guy actually believed the stories, well, he kind of doubted the stories that Grandma told him, but he was so, Grandma, really? And he loved his grandma, and it was so cool to see them together. He was supporting her as he can. She was with him and
Is that a chicken in the yard?
That's a chicken, right? And this is the place where you keep the firewood. So now I'll try to turn on some recordings, and there will be translation on the side. But before, I think I already told you that cow is very important in their life. Without cow, you don't have your daily protein. But cows need to be not only fed, not only you have to get the hay for the cows, so the summer months are the most difficult in your life because from dawn to night you cut and turn over and put this hay in haystacks. You need to do all that. You need to tend the cow all winter, and the cow has calves, and it's a lot of work.
Are we now looking at the Rus people in this Carpathian area, not just Ukraine in general? So this would be the Rus in the Carpathian areas.
Yes. So, but the cow also, as anything that you hold dear, they're magical. Someone can cast an evil eye and your cow will lose the milk. And someone might even come in that house, and let's see what I heard from one woman. Maybe you'll hear it hopefully.
Що ідея виходить з крайній жаби. І цей чоловік то потрапив, бо є та збірки народження за тих компаній. І то так вона помоється, чого не її думає.
Що це зробити?
Як то так, що шаркання. Вона заперечує ту жабу. Іде до другого чоловіка молодого. Чоловік повартує, і на побачі іздіє до пожару. Там то пошукання вже вдома, що може умерти.
Can you imagine? And again, it was told absolutely seriously. And there is a lot of such stories when a witch comes to your cowshed as a toad, as a dog, as a ball of yarn. And if you maim the animal, Next day you'll find out that your female neighbor has a broken arm or something. If it is a ball of yarn and you cover it with a bucket, your neighbor will come running and tell you, please, please, whatever you do, don't do that. Get the bucket off the yarn. Apparently, part of the witch goes in someone else's yard. And if you somehow make or stop this piece of her soul from returning, the witch feels terrible pain, and she would come and ask you to let her back. And sometimes she would say, "It was me who was taking the milk, but I won't do it anymore. Please, please let the ball of yarn out." Okay.
Ngày Folklore thì tu video pratica. Tanto ona Folklore è mai puro. E sono toccare queste cose, film, tutto da un libro per le persone, bisogna tutto la tutta la libertà di tagliare cose. Se avete una meta di cui dicono le problemi dicono le stiamo usate con questo tempo io compagnia dicono dopo tu venisse sempre no, di tanto tanto non tutto preso a due modi prende una mano con tale di il non ha letto di però no, sai due PDF had again training had no idea poi lui attacca o modo a tutta parte la una dentro un quadrato पिछले और पानी वाला तो इन को तो वो भी सब कुछ देने चाहिए और पानी वाला को या कभी को नहीं लोगों को क्या को ना लोगों को नहीं क्या हमारे इधर तो बात तब होता है तो ये नहीं हो और ना कभी नहीं पाएगा
So, usually, when something like that happens when you come, you are not alone in the world. There are people, wise people, or wise women who can help you. And you go to them for advice. And what they usually ask, it is what this wise woman asked, do you want your offender to die, or do you want your offender's cow to die? And people, as good Christians, say, no, I don't want anything of that. I just want to know. And why they want to know? Because sometimes when they get to know, the magical visits stop. So, but here it is coupled with, so usually men and women have different magical abilities. Usually it is a man who can send snakes. But here it is a woman who sends snakes as a punishment to a witch. And it is quite successful. The witch doesn't die, but she gets marked. And probably she will stop her behavior. I just wanted to show you once again. See, they even didn't have kettles to boil water. If they wanted to boil water, they would put water in a jar, then they would heat rocks in the stove and put the hot rocks in the water. And can you imagine if you're washing like that a milk jar, which is not that big, but what if you need to fill a big vessel where you do the laundry for the entire family, or if you want to bathe or to bathe your children, if all the children bathe in the same water one after the other, well, the water is not warm. So again, how hard their life was. And I'm sorry for howling of the wind here in this recording, but I was recording it outside of the pasture. So. And not as to
Хозяин говорит, это хозяйка, что тут такое может быть? Может, здоровые коровы что? Там же я, тут кажется, більше молока, набила і я. Пішла тут доїти, уже сумниця і пішла сама хозяйка доїти. Та де? То там молоко ж не було ні. То горіє, що дівка заносила. Наша розшуткувати за ту дівку. Пішла корову доїти. Заходять саму таку. Краще дівчинка, вона сама була через корінну полу. Зараз встане, та дістане до минути. Доїть. Молоко пішла. Зараз я виходжу на Богу. І його кажеться, смерть виходить. І загадайся, та є, що ти будеш. Мені на проспокою світі. Або буду сидіти, або буду робити. Дайте.
So, if you're a witch, you don't even need to go to the house to someone else's cow. You can get a milk instantly. And that's what happened here, and that's why the owner of the cow fired the servant girl. She was a witch.
Most people just have one cow.
Right now, yes. Before the Soviets, it was more, but not much more, because not many people had a lot of land. To feed a cow, you need quite an amount of land to get the hay from. And actually, that's why your ancestors came here. They mostly didn't come here to stay. They came here to earn money, come back, and buy more land.
So just the distinction, so far we're talking about witches and wise men and women. How were the witches treated, regarded, versus the wise men and women? Were there ever any violence towards the women that were witches?
I didn't hear stories about violence, but
ostracized or anything like that?
like when you live in a village where everyone knows everyone, and you desperately want to be on good terms with everyone because it is your support net. If something happens, then in the village everything can happen. You can break your leg, lightning strikes, epidemic strikes. You need the support of your kin and the entire village. Therefore, your prestige is your main capital in a village. And God forbid someone starts talking about you as a witch. Because people will not want to deal with you, they will not help you, they will not, you'll have to pay more if you want to hire people to help you in the field. No one's going to want to marry your daughter or your son, and you are in a really bad position. So whenever people tell stories like that, they first are trying to say that it doesn't exist, and then they try to maximally distance themselves from the events. Like, I heard about it, there was a woman long ago, and I can even state her name, but no, I don't know anything about it. And the unwitches, usually, it is very rarely that they are in the same village. Usually you have to go far. And the further you have to go, the more valuable the help is. There can be some people in your own village, but sometimes they help, sometimes they can't help. I'm not ready to tell whether one and the same person could become both a witch and an unwitch. I just don't know.
Wise men and wise women are not considered witches, though, correct?
That's generally not.
Okay.
But someone could say something about them, and they will have to go lengths to clear the recognition.
Okay.
story you just read, is the servant putting the rope around the teat of the cow's udder, and then over.
There is a beam in the
But what's it connected to? It makes no sense unless you're pulling the
it's
rope.
magic.
Exactly.
It's magic.
Exactly.
It's how she magically got the milk, and that's why the guy who hired her didn't want her anymore. He wanted normal milk, he didn't want the magically gotten milk. Because it's a sin and generally it's not good.
It's for the pigs.
Legends.
Okay.
Zakarpat.
Мати доньку. Та каже донька матері: мамо, а чому у вас сметана є, а в мене не є? Та й чому ви, мамо, масло зробите із тої сметани, а я не можу? Ну та то так, донько, та так, прекрасно. Ну каже, йди, донько, каже, на вулицю, на місто, так як буде, на місто. Йди на місто, достань талерку масла. А як нехай туди розтягне, то масло, так каже, мою душу розтягнуть усі дияволи. А вона перед Богом не буде чиста. Та й далі до того.
So that's why the guy in the previous story didn't want to do anything with the milk magic milk. Because the witches not only get ostracized in the village, they get a very bad life in the other world. No one wants it. Now the wise man. The wise men, as I said, wise men and wise women have different sets of obligations, skills. Let's see what happens when wise men are involved.
Та вроді став досить вертати. Це щось він з тим мав якось. Я яким способом не знаю. Та коли в мене та така буря прийшла, щоб не було права сорок повести, а через городу взяли на вигляд, що не є, на верхах привезли дуйту, якось перейшли на тобік, а то сюди, бо сюди, куди тепер дорога, все далі. Така велика була. І так вона надбище остане. А яким способом він тут робив, яким я не можу поняти.
So you see, a guy is telling about a guy's ability to stop rain, and it's not a good idea to stop rain because it's harming your neighbors. Generally, why the witches are bad, or why stopping the rain out is bad? Because you harm your neighbors. Because people are hardworking and you hit them with something they can't prevent, not being magical themselves. And it's not fair. And that's why the witch is detested, hated, and wise men who stop the rain, they are probably more bored than detested, but still, this guy who's telling this story, I don't know how he did it. And how he did it, I don't know. I only know that it happened. So he's distancing himself as far as he can from the knowledge how to stop rain, because it's bad and it gives you unfair advantage, and the tower didn't want to have anything.
Той, хто спустив коняка на голову носив, а він став та як він забрали, полоносив. А він каже, ну чекай, полоносив, робить так кидає, як робиться. Та знаєте, хто зробив нам устовано? Він купив Закарпат. То він надовго випустив на дорогу. І Folklore
So what's going on here? It is a very common type of story about male wizards. It is like wizards competition or don't do that again. Remember in Harry Potter, Professor Moody was hitting Malfoy. Malfoy was bouncing off the floor and Moody was saying, don't do that again. So this is the don't do that again story. Usually two wizards, or a wizard and a simple man. So a wizard, if he's a good wizard, he wouldn't do harm to people. He would be quiet, he would be reserved. And the young, stupid man might want to harm him. This young, stupid man might be another weaker wizard, or he might be a person without magical abilities. So he does some harm to the wizard. And the wizard says, you'll regret that, and this here, you'll not only give it back, but you'll beg me to forgive you. And, but a wizard is usually a good man, as I said, he's reserved and stuff, and when the offender comes to him and says, I'm sorry, the wizard just says, don't do that again, and he takes off the spell and restores the situation almost to the status quo. Here it is totally to the status quo, no one injured. So that's what a wise man does. Anyone heard anything about that? What did you hear? Mm-hmm. What does it do?
Like an ancestral spirit that protects them all.
Yeah, so what does it do? In what you heard?
It helps with past lives.
Excellent. See, in the village everyone knows each other. And if you can get richer if you work really hard, if your whole family works really hard. But sometimes neighbors think that you don't work hard enough and nevertheless you get rich. What's happening? You have a magical helper apparently. You've gotten an evil spirit that helps you in this world in exchange for your soul in the next world. And let's see how it happens. What is interesting here is that they don't have a name for it, and it's on purpose. Maybe there used to be a name, but it was taboo, so you just don't pronounce it. The woman is telling the story. At some point, the man comes up and says it's the movie, but he explains that to me, a stupid person from a city who doesn't know. They don't call it the movie. They call it the one-legged pedant, probably. It is not even a noun, it's a verbal construction, let him disappear, basically. They are so much afraid to name the name, because if you say the name, he might hear, he might come. you report it. Okay, and again, I'm asking whether you feed it, and of course the first answer is no. But then they give details that such a creature is fed by giving him milk. And there were stories that it requires bathing, and that one person poured the hot water, and the demon got in and burned, scalded himself, and he was so angry that everything went wrong in the household since that day.
Пасха. В четверг жили перед Пасхой. Я чули сте такое? Но тепер вечеря, вечеряла ця вона і поклала собі яйце з носом під плечі. Це я чула, як приказували люди на засідні татки, як чув із своїх батьків, як приказували жінку. І поклав під плече то яйце з носом, і то до п'ятниці, в суботу, а то вийдуть на Великдень на Воскресіння. Та коли йду коло церкви, йдуть вже старізами, з Евангелією, перший раз дзвонять, та тоді кликнуть, так, а тоді вже на Воскресіння задзвонять. Та й перший раз коло двері, перед церкви, церкву дому, та й тоді краня задзвонять, та й Христос воскрес, піпик.
So that's how you catch it for yourself. And church plays a role, because like Christ is reason is the words that make everything alive, so that they by chance may make alive this weird creature too. And something else about this creature.
А як? Цього продадуть чомусь. Продадуть, та ся може бути, що чомусь продадуть, що мають чомусь, як купує людина щось на тому продадуть. Це може бути, так я не знаю як.
So as it said on the previous slide, such a demon becomes your master. And if you want to get rid of it, you can't just get it out, because it will return. So what you have to do, you have to hide it. And so the thing is hidden. And then the poor unsuspecting person who bought it might be, now it is her or his master, and they will have to think how to get rid of it.
Так охоронили його, та жінка собі взяв спати, і кожен ніч чоловік до неї приходить. І він має це діло як живе. Вона в страху, вона боїться і не знає, що робити. Ходить до попа, і підмолиться, і ще одна, і що. І не може ніяк взяти раз. А вони давно такі мудрі люди. А я співав, а я знаю, що знає, скаже, що. Ось ми собі каже, він море колосо, що хлібця в ній місяць. Та собі каже, не собі світку, но не будує. Та на столі напали, а там порядок свічку накрили. Або не легко каже. А що бачив, береться файно, як коли добічна не дівка, як нас давно було, що береться в біле плаття, а пише зелену дівку паке і сидить собі за столом. І чекає його, так вона зробила, і як каже, він прийде, а то зараз підойде, і вбрана все така файна стояти, а він буде тебе питати, де ти хочеш йти, що ти ще вбрала, де ти хочеш йти. Я хочу йти на свадьбу. А де на свадьбу? Та там і там каже, брат каже за струбу, за свадьбу. І ось каже, та хто такое, каже, чула, тут брат сестру брав. А хто такое чула, бо такий чоловік до жінки ходив. А він зробив. Вона свідку I to zakonodawstwo i wystąpi na te myśli trochę bardziej, że to nie jest przychodzi.
So, okay, let me tell you what happened. A husband died and he was coming from the grave to sleep with his wife. And the wife was afraid and she went to the priest and the priest was praying and nothing happened. But there are such wise women and she went to them and they told her to put a candle under a trough and get dressed very beautifully, and he will come and ask, where are you going? Where are you going? And you go, I'm going to a wedding. And he'll ask, what kind of a wedding? A wedding where a brother is marrying his sister. And the dead man would say, how come it can't be? And how can it be? You would answer that the dead man comes to sleep with his wife. And when she did all that, he blew out the candle and left, and she had never seen it. So there are different ways of getting rid of visitors from the grave, but one of them is making them ashamed. And it is also a way of dealing with some diseases like epileptic kids are also treated with a kind of shameful remedy if you want, I can tell you, but spirits can be shamed. And when spirits are shamed, they go away and never come back.
Would you mind talking a little more about the shame treatment for epilepsy?
If you're a woman and you see for the first time a person who has an epileptic fit, you have to sit on his face, or you wear whatever you have. You wear that skirts and you sit on his face. And the spirit that gives the poor person epilepsy, they are so ashamed that they leave and never come back. So basically the evil spirits are bad, but they are, it's not that they are with you forever and there are means to get rid of them, and this is one of those means.
Якось там чоловік мов каша передбалювався вовка. То не знала, то не знала, що деякі чоловік є, а й піде, так я, але пастися. Раз вона пішла гречки сіна в море, а біжить вовк. Та й біжить, вона ще обманя на ньому, а й повинні плакав за працю, та й час, так підрав на ньому. Та вона зробила, та він пішов у світ. Десь пакнув, колись прийшов, і вже перетворив чоловіка, прийшов, та вони сіли обідати. Дивиться вона, а у нього уста і ще й братя. Така тряпочка висить. Як? Ну, а вона як тут поповіла, а він як пішов, і нам всім це вже більше не приходить. Пішов нам самого.
Could you read? Did you understand that? That's really. So, the wife and the husband are making hay, and the husband says, I need to go for a minute, and he leaves, and then a wolf comes from first. And the wolf attacks the woman, and he tears her skirt. And then but the woman is not desperate. She fights the wolf with her rake, and the wolf runs away. And then her husband comes to her from the woods, and she says, you know what happened? The wolf attacked me. And he says, or he doesn't say anything at all. And then they sit down to eat, or in other versions, he puts his head in her lap so that she can look for lice in his hair. And she sees that between his teeth there is a thread stuck out of her hip. And then different versions are possible. Either she tells him, or she never tells him, or she takes him to the priest to заклятые, казати, what it is, it's a metaphor of wife abuse. Unfortunately, wife abuse is very widespread in this area, especially if a husband drinks and a lot of men drink there. So a woman is living with a man, with a husband, and once in a while he becomes totally wild. Nothing can stop him. He's a werewolf. But what to do? It is the story from the old time. The divorce was impossible. And what is she to do? And it is a story that women tell. If men tell this story, they twist it, they sharpen it, they're not interested in what's happening. But women not only tell it after each telling, if there are several women talking and you sit in the corner and record, after the story they start discussing why and how and what she had to do and what she didn't have to do. Maybe she could have, maybe she could have killed him. No, it's not good. Maybe she could have left him, but without divorcing, because the divorce is forbidden. And in some stories she really leaves him and then he dies and she had other marriages. Or in the next story you can see what a woman can do to her werewolf husband. But again, remember, it's a metaphor of abuse. All those stories when women tell them starts from, and he used to beat her. Okay? So the next story is kind of longish, but
Așa grała, że mare четверо дітей, і все він збаткував. І коли він каже, як на святий вечір вас не вічно. А вона каже, тобі я йди, я тебе пущу в руку. І він пішов, і вона пустила його в руку. То було недалеко до ріки. І то сама мама тато. І пустила в руку. Його не є. Так на святий вечір думає, гріх маєш, ти який гріх учинила. Нагадуйся, який ти гріх учинила, вона вже про нього забула.
Did you see my husband? Okay, quickly. A woman is married, and her husband meets her, and one time he goes, before Christmas, he goes in the forest to get a Christmas tree, and she goes, I'll make you into a wolf. And she does make him into a wolf. And he tries to come home as a wolf, but she asks the neighbor who has a gun to shoot, and the neighbor doesn't hit him. And the man goes in the forest as a wolf. And she forgets all that. Well, no one beats her anymore, she's happy, but she's getting old, and it's time for her to die. And it is a very important moment we in our culture are afraid of death. They kind of welcome it if it's the right way of dying. Because if you die peacefully in your bed, with all the family around you, with all the rituals, you'll go to heaven or whichever good places there. But if you cannot die, if you're on the verge of dying and cannot pass over this threshold, means something is here that holds you back. Means you had committed some sin that doesn't let you through. And that's what happens with a woman. She goes to the confession, doesn't know, and again, wise women in the female community tells her, you must have done something bad. Come on, remember. And here's the continuation.
Повідала, він каже, як я можу тобі розрішення дати? Я тоді можу розрішення дати, коли він прийде в мій. Твій гріх тобі відпустить, а я тобі розрішення не можу дати. За який великий гріх. А вона каже, він каже, він каже, там є цього цуря, і то встану, там, каже, перелітайте до встану, і там є цуря.
So here what's important is that even the priest can't absolve her until she made the things right, until she gets her husband back, who she was right, but still using witchcraft is not good because it's unfair advantage. So the priest tells her, I think you have to do something. And she's trying to reverse the situation.
Вони вже зробили. Пішли, понесли, чекали. І понесли вони там, видять, і прийшло 9-й закон. 9-й закон. Прийшов. Руки побивані, обросли, сюди обросли. Так, як настоящий Бог приступилася в його обросли. І каже, прийшов, і поклонився, і каже, дякую я тобі, жоно, що ти мене ще навернула на своє місце. Та каже, wszystko wiem, kieruję. Прийшли і поцілували. Wszystko wiem, kieruję. І я не добре робив, зачав мені своє рідне. І я не добре робив, а я тебе задати не розбив. Збудував. Нижче. Та каже, я тобі wszystko інкедую, лиш ти то не інкедую, що на святий вечір діти мені несли хліба та медалі. А то вийшла куме полюбити.
So what happens here? They're trying to make him back into a person by giving him his human clothes. And he finally finds his human clothes in the woods, he puts them on. And in this story told by a woman, he asked for forgiveness as well. He said, I was beating you, so I'm also guilty. And let's hear the ending of the story.
Жив та як, та й каже, не бідуть, та й каже, знаєш, каже, як ми тут не бідували. Ну, бідували дуже. Бо каже, коли нам Бог палець покаже, де йди, ми там підемо. І дуже ми були вольні, Бог нам палець показав, на нього казав, і ми прийшли, бо можна було кучу розбити. Та Бог нам лише велів по одному ярчати взяти та звідти, а не в шоку. Вони допускали стратили, та за мирний рік не чтили. Лиш що підемо, там линні, на траву. А інше линчим не входили до кінця. І мрок заклинений, і вони істинно вийшли. Та каже, wszystko ти, каже, не будеш, що то ти не. Ну, та як завжди повинні, щоб вона спочивала з Богом. І каже, нас спочивай з Богом. Я своє перебив, може я ся спокутав, та то і я покуту свої прияв, то я тебе збуткав, тебе нищив. Ну, та я не добре робив, а ти з Богом спочивай і другого Господа. А я, каже, ти мене не бідуй, я такий мала дурний розум, що тебе тут опустила, я не рад житіла, бо я вже не можу. Що Клавдія навернула, то був мене збуткував, і ще мене вже нищив, і я не можу. Бо я себе із світа Англії. То я за то чисто був.
So what's happening? He's telling her a lot of stories, and some of those stories are like old Indo-European folklore, like the wolves. Packs of wolves run not on their own. God leads them, God shows them what to eat and what not to eat. And if they're greedy, if God tells them eat one lamb and they they slaughter the whole herd, they get punished. Like here, they couldn't eat a thing for an entire year. So he tells her about his adventure, and then there's this exchange again. He says, I am sorry, and she says, I am sorry too, but had I returned you before, I would be ashamed of you again because you would beat me again, you wouldn't stop. And that's why I was holding you in the woods as a wolf. for that long a time. And he forgives her, and happy, and she dies. But see, this is one of the feminist possibilities of how to get rid of an abusive husband if there is no divorce in the culture. Make him into the wolf for 60 years, and when it's time for you to die, get him back. He'll forgive you. He'll forgive you because you finally got him back. He could have died as a wolf out there. So that's all the stories I wanted to tell you today. If you have any questions.
Question. We're talking about witches and wizards, but are there any stories of how they became witches and wizards? Are there any common stories of, does someone start as a child, or are they born that way with magical powers, or do they study?
And do they look like this fellow?
There are two possibilities, and you must know.
I've been called the Wizard of Wall Street.
And you can be a learned witch, and learned is worse. If you're born like that, you just can't help yourself. If you sought for the evil knowledge on purpose, it means you became real mad. And moreover, right now, they say, there are so many books on the market. You can buy a book about how to become a witch, and that's the worst. And there are witches who, or they say in the old times, the witches knew how to farm, but they might also know how to get the results back, to reverse the results. And now they can only farm, something like that. So based on the word, yes, both possibilities exist.
I know other cultures also have stories of witches and wizards, but in the Ukraine, is it the Rus people that have these mystical stories, or are they shared with other Ukrainians, or do Ukrainians have different stories? Is this unique to the Rus, this group of stories?
You know, such a good story can't stay in one place. Neighbors will hear, neighbors will like the story, and they will tell it in their village, and then it will go further. This story about a man and a woman going to rake hay, and he leaving and then coming back as a wolf, and later her recognizing him by a piece of cloth. This story originated somewhere in Germany. In Germany. It is in the 16th century German first printed books, but it was so good that it spread throughout Europe, including Rus. And it spread further beyond Rus to Ukrainian territory. And many other stories of witches and wizards are shared. But some are shared with Slovaks, some are shared with Hungarians, some are shared with Ukrainians, and some just spread throughout the territory.
In what year did you record these?
This specific story.
I mean, in general.
I started recording in '87, and last time I was there before COVID in 2019.
1987.
Yeah, so this is from the very first expedition I went to. This story about the wolf is from '87.
I don't know if you know the answer to this. Were there these kinds of stories during the pagan times versus, pre-Christianity versus post?
As far as I understand, many of those stories are old. Some of them have Indo-European parallels, so they're much, much older than the advent of Christianity to those places. Like that the man can deal with snakes and with celestial, like with the rain and thunder and stuff. It's very old. It's like the cult of Zeus has something to do with that. So I think many things were there before Christianity.
Can
can you explain a little bit? Baba used to talk about the Basorka and then the Molfars.
Basorka. So Basorka is the name of a female witch. It comes from some kind of a Turkish word. Here, you remember that they didn't want to name the household devil. What is its name? The one let him disappear. That's why the name is taboo. You don't want to call the name if you don't want the creature to come to you. That's why the names for evil doers, evil spirits, and people with supernatural powers change so often. You don't want to call them, so you invent a different name or you borrow a name from a different language. Wolfar is malefactorius, is the Latin word, the one who does bad things. So it's borrowed probably from Romanian or something. So again, they wanted a word for a taboo, for an entity whose name was forbidden. So they borrowed a word. Same thing about Basorka. Basorka is also, it's in the area, the Hungarians also call a witch Basorkania.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
The name for wise man, wise woman.
The right one, maybe because it was not too good, would even there. Wise people exactly. There is no special word.
What does the name, what does let him not, that 5-word name that you paraphrase for us, what is it?
Malefactorius.
Let it not be named.
Let it not be.
Szczezły. 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 Szczezły, propałby. Szczezły, propałby. Propałby sobie. Najwyższe sny. Let him not come in dreams. To be najwyższe sny. There is again a bunch of names and they're not, you don't want to name him, you describe him with that one phrase.